People are sending me my face on things.
Oh,
Shout out Cavell for the merch.
Be sure to get your VeVe, Ecomi, and Omi merch at CavellAnderson.com. Our primary line will always be available, while our limited edition section will only ever have 100 items total and will never be sold again. Get it while supplies last. Yo, what is going on, y'all? I'm Cavell Anderson, and we are back with another VeVe and Ecomi video. In this one, we're going to be touching on a pretty significant topic for the VeVe community and the Ecomi community here. So basically, Ubisoft jumped into the NFT space and got slapped down. Now, this is interesting, and I think this is very, very bullish for projects like VeVe, because it's pretty much showing that anyone can't just jump into the NFT space, and it's better to go through a platform like VeVe. Even Disney did it, DC did it, and I mean, DC tested the water with like Palm and other platforms, and there's a few projects out here testing the waters with other things as well, but going through a platform like VeVe that's trusted for its NFTs and then prides itself on premium digital collectibles, like it's going to become a standard for people to not try to do it yourself and to trust a company that specializes in this. And I think VeVe's specialization in this area, stuff like this is going to be very, very good for that, because you don't want to keep being a joke in the NFT space, coming out here flopping like Ubisoft did. You want to go with a company where it's going to sell out simply because we have an ecosystem here of people who right now we understand the value of holding these NFTs. Gamers are not going to understand the value of this right now. We understand the value of this. So we will gladly buy this stuff, so the gamers will have to buy it from us in the future. We know this, we think like this, but everyone's not going to think like that. So yeah, I mean, even if it's just for publicity, it just makes more sense to go through a platform like VeVe, because yeah, you don't want to keep flopping and that to be your headlines in the news. You want your headline to be sells out. It's sold out in X amount of seconds and stuff like that. And those are the type of headlines that you get when you're working with VeVe. And I think that's a huge selling point that VeVe has, and probably why they're growing so fast and doing so well with these licenses. Because if that's your headline, like they can damn near guarantee that headline, even though like no we don't want to jinx it or nothing. But I'm just saying, you know. But yeah. Be sure to drop that thumbs up, subscribe, turn on notifications so you stay updated with everything going on. But let's jump into it. We're going to be checking out why Ubisoft has completely failed, and let's hear some thoughts on that and some opinions on that.
NFTs, a ridiculous, annoying, pointless endeavor that somehow permeates the online digital world and forces all of us to talk about it as new companies every single day dive into the world of blockchain, hoping to capitalize on the world's latest get-rich-quick scheme. Okay, so
you can tell he's not a fan of NFTs. I mean, it's a lot of different perspectives on NFTs, but I mean, it's always interesting to hear a bearish perspective.
Slightly hyperbolic, sure, yes, but for the most part, that's pretty much accurate, and nowhere is it more accurate than gaming. NFTs, non-fungible tokens, might have an actual use case in the future. Concert tickets, lottery applications, proof of ownership over limited edition offerings, it's a decent foundational idea, just the premise itself. But the out-of-control hype spiral that we see right now, it's a completely ridiculous concept that is fueled by some of the most desperate and short-sighted people on planet Earth.
I mean, he's not wrong. Like, this isn't like one of these haters who's out here just talking crazy about NFTs. He knows what an NFT is. He understands the cycle that we're in, and he's not wrong in saying that a lot of people are just desperate out here and just taking shots in the dark. Like, I mean, so many people, like even when Recur popped up, like a lot of people just like, I mean, I don't know, it could do well, so I'm just gonna buy it. Like, it's like people don't really know what's going on. Everyone's just hoping for the best out here. A lot of people are just hoping for the best. And I mean, if that's part of your strategy, it is what it is. I mean, you all know my strategy. I feel like I'm very accurate with the things that I pick. So because I trust in my investments, I make good choices and I have a history of doing so. I like to just go and I double, triple, quadruple down on what I believe in, as opposed to, like, you know, gambling. I feel like, because I feel like it's taking a gamble. Like some people would say only holding one investment is really the gamble. But it's not a gamble if you know that one investment is Tesla or that one investment is Amazon. It's not really a gamble if you know that you have, you know, Amazon before it becomes Amazon. So, I mean, it's just perspective for sure.
Just as a fun side note, this is what Keanu Reeves had to say about NFTs during an interview with The Verge.
Buy these NFTs for $50. And so like when you think about the concept of digital scarcity and things that are, you know, they can't be copied.
That are easily reproduced.
Well, but they're not the same.
Today, we need
So Keanu Reeves, he don't know, he don't get NFTs. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But you would think that the Matrix would have him under some type of contract so he can't say stuff like that, right? Like why is he just allowed to openly make jokes about it? And they trying to sell NFTs and he's laughing at them. It's like why could he? Why they got him out here where he could just say whatever he want to say about NFTs? But that is Keanu Reeves, to be fair. But I mean, those of us who understand, we get it. But I mean, he clearly does not.
need to examine Ubisoft, because credit where credit is due, Ubisoft is effectively pioneering the world of AAA gaming NFTs, and it's not going very well. The most immediate thing to know is that Ubisoft is effectively demoing the idea with Ghost Recon Breakpoint, a game that sold so badly they had to literally downgrade their entire revenue projection forecast for 2019. Just keep that in mind. Breakpoint will be ground zero for thousands of NFTs, which will be given to players and then utilized in-game as cosmetic items. First things first, gamers don't want this. This is not a popular, sought-after, and enthusiastically received offering. It's a slap in the face, and it has no point.
The problem is they are not working with a company like VeVe. It's the NFT craze going on, so they're going on talking about, oh, it's an NFT, it's this, it's that. They could have just introduced a brand new game and like do what VeVe did, not use the word NFT, introduce a brand new game using only NFTs and present it as something different. Like you have X amount of items. With these items, you can do this now. Basically, just reveal all the benefits of them being NFTs without people actually knowing that they're NFTs, and they would have loved it. The thing is, it's cool to be on the other side of NFTs, especially if you're a gamer right now. If you're a gamer, it's cool to be against NFTs. So it's stupid to come out marketing the fact that you're making a game with NFTs, unless it's an NFT company like Illuvium or something like that. Then it's fine. But yeah, like Ubisoft's approach was wrong to begin with. And this is why you need to work with a company who knows what they're doing, like VeVe, because they more than likely would have told you this. This is a reason that VeVe did not go with the, oh, we're selling NFT approach. And they went with the digital collectibles. That's what we're selling. Like, it's a reason that they went that route.
These NFTs are not unique. They simply aren't, save for a simplistic serial number, which is the only thing about them that is even partially unique. Their entire trailer is generally misleading, and as an added bonus, even though the dislike counter has now been deleted off of the platform and the video unlisted by Ubisoft themselves, their NFT trailer on YouTube went straight from 0 to 95% or 96% dislikes on the platform before it got pulled. Their audience hates this, and they hate it for good reason. Not enough.
Their audience doesn't hate it for good reason. Their audience don't want to give it a chance. They don't want to take the time to understand it because they're just hearing bad things about it. They're seeing YouTubers. When YouTubers mention it, the YouTubers are not going to be very educated on what's going on. So it's just going to be, until NFTs are the standard, people are going to hate it. It's the same thing that would have happened at the beginning of people getting computers. There would have been the little clubs that no one there wanted to touch a computer and things like that until it became the norm, where you had to have a computer. It only makes sense. And that's the same thing that's going to happen with gaming. It's just they need to understand that this is going to happen and they need to make better choices.
Enough? Okay, here's something else. The entire thing was just a mechanism, I believe, to force additional playtime. The cosmetic pants? Yeah, they required 100 hours of in-game playtime in order to even get them. And the helmet, that required 600 hours if you wanted to claim it. These were being given away for free, right? People will often cite that, defenders of the concept will, but these insane requirements for a game that underperformed sales expectations so bad they lost 16% of their share price, by the way, all but guarantee that hardly anyone will even be eligible to claim one. And even the ones that are claimed are not unique, save the serial number. So why does it matter? It matters because the fundamental premise of these NFT items is value through scarcity. Non-fungible tokens, whether they be tied to gaming items or artwork, are supposed to represent unique and unalterable ownership over some sort of digital asset. And that ownership is then valuable because of absolutely no reason. The only thing that makes NFTs valuable is the fact that one NFT bro can sell their piece of nothing to another NFT bro, and that guy is willing to pay them $10,000 for it.
Yo, this guy is kind of hilarious, bro. I like this guy. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny hearing it from this perspective. But I mean, it's like he's accurately saying what NFTs are and how it's supposed. Like, you know, he understands NFTs. He just doesn't like them. And I mean, to an extent, like, this is what most projects are. And to be fair, Ubisoft, it doesn't sound like their NFTs were good. It sounds like a terrible approach to the NFT space in general. It doesn't sound very good.
Except for Ubisoft, that's not happening. It should be immediately clear that the underlying premise of an NFT is invalidated completely by Ubisoft's application of it. NFT ownership is intended to be immutable and decentralized. Ubisoft, however, is binding NFT collectibles to your Uplay account, which is a centralized and highly unreliable service that can be removed from your control at any point in time for absolutely any reason under the sun. That's kind of the whole point of their TOS. Ubisoft is polluting a concept that was meant, in many ways, to protect the idea of ownership and turning it into a useless extension of their microtransaction systems. That part is obvious. However, going deeper, gamers have absolutely no interest in their content. NFTs are encountering, shall we say, growing pains. Stalker 2, an upcoming sequel in the Stalker universe set for 2022, I think it is, announced on Twitter that they would be incorporating NFTs into their own game. The backlash was so intense and so widespread, also immediate, they completely canceled the idea one day later and stated that they will have nothing to do with the concept of NFTs at all.
See, this is the thing. Companies should not just be jumping in announcing that they're going to be having NFTs. That's the problem. Like, you don't sit here, like, you're not sitting here and telling people what your game is coded in. Like, companies are not out here announcing, yo, you know what? We're going to code our game in this language that's popular right now because this language allows us to do this. It allows us to do that. I mean, if you want to find out what language something is coded in, sometimes they're open about that stuff, but no one cares. They just want to play the game. So the fact that they're going about this in this way, it's dumb. It's a very terrible strategy. When in reality, all you have to do is include NFTs into your game. Then if you do it in the right way, people love how it's working and things are becoming more valuable, more scarce. Like let it become valuable on its own. Like if you're playing a Pokemon game, for instance, and you get yourself a Mewtwo, that's going to be valuable because it's a Mewtwo. It's very, very rare. It's very scarce. It's going to be valuable. Let's say you can trade this Mewtwo in for some real money. They don't have to tell people that it's an NFT. They just know the gamers just knows that, oh, this is worth some money. But then turns out when NFTs are acceptable, when it becomes cool to have NFTs, then they just tell everybody, you know what? That Mewtwo you got right there, just so you know, that's been an NFT this whole time. Like, you don't have to sit here and introduce, well, people, we're coming in with NFTs and that this is going to be in the next game. How do you like that? It's like, why are you sitting here and announcing something that could go really good or really bad? It's like, it's stupid to go about it in this way. And this is where most companies are going to fail at. And this is why you have companies like Illuvium who are probably going to just be dominating this space, because the companies coming in have no idea what they're doing. They just want in on the NFT action. Well, these companies are going to learn, and this is why I think they're going to start coming to platforms like VeVe, that if you want in on this action, go to an expert when it comes down to this. Because you trying it on your own, this is the type of stuff that's going to continue to happen to you.
Unrelated, but still relevant, the Twitter profile for Stan Lee, the beloved creator of the Marvel properties, may he rest in peace, was being used after his passing by some sort of marketing team, presumably, to promote NFTs, and the responses were predictably severe. There was widespread backlash. NFTs are not a popular concept outside of a small, fanatical bubble, and even that tiny little community, because it is small despite how loud they might be on social media, even that little world of NFT worshippers, they don't want anything to do with Ubisoft's collection. Ghost Recon Breakpoint NFT items are launched and supported by a blockchain called Tezos. This is where we get into like the real information behind the video. After being minted, they can be bought and sold on 2 other platforms, from what I understand, the first being Object and the second Rarible. On Object, we can actually check the Ubisoft Quartz collection, individual items are called digits or something like that, and see the recent activity. These NFTs were minted in early December. What you will find is that over the course of the first 12 days, apparently these NFTs were airdropped in 3 batches on the 9th, the 12th, and the 15th. Over the first 12 days, 8 of them have been sold. Remember, the entire point of an NFT in this capacity is peer-to-peer resale value, Minting 2,000 of the exact same item with tiny little numbers on it has no actual point other than capitalizing on FOMO. These procedurally generated avatar offerings like Moon Boys or the Monkey Thing or the worst NFT collection, literally, these little avatar images are selling, and they're selling for $10, $20, $40, $100 a piece, sometimes even more frequently. There is no point other than the speculative idea that it might somehow be worth more money later. It's ridiculous. The totality of Ubisoft's collection on Object has only witnessed 8 peer-to-peer sales, totaling roughly 100 XTZ, which then converts to roughly $400. This is a AAA publisher, like one of the biggest in the world, who has now done possibly irreparable damage to their brand, spent God only knows how much money on marketing and producing trailers and pushing the idea, developing the idea, offering a collection of NFTs that their audience does not want, and now the actual NFT audience itself on emergent platforms apparently doesn't want them either. On Rarible, the other supporting platform, we can filter by total sales and see that there are just 10 sales, totaling roughly 200 QTZ. That's about $800, bringing their net total to about $1,200 for the entire Ubisoft NFT collection over its first week and a half, possibly 2 weeks. Whether or not that level of community interest from the actual audience that supports NFTs is worth it or not worth it, you'll have to decide that for yourself, but to me it seems completely dead in the water. Here's another way to think about it.
That's crazy. It's crazy how hard they flop. Like, this is bad. This is really bad. But like I said, this is good for platforms like VeVe, because if you don't want that to happen to you, VeVe is a sure way of not having that happen to you. Like, that's not going to happen to you. But also you have to be bringing something of value. Like, honestly, I don't even think just a bunch of random weapons from Ubisoft could even make their way onto VeVe. That's the thing. They're trying to, like, it's just they're not doing it right. They're not going about it in the right way.
Having attached a massive time gate to some of these NFT items, Ubisoft killed their own concept. Literally one of the resales on both platforms combined was for the pants, and there have been 0 helmets resold. That's because hardly anyone in the world has 600 hours of Ghost Recon Breakpoint, and there might be an inclination to believe that this would spur higher prices at auction because of scarcity. But you'd actually be wrong, because the pants requiring 100 hours were selling for less than half the combined average of the gun, which was effectively free for everyone who played even a little bit. No one wants these NFTs. No one wants to play 600 hours to get them of a dead game that wasn't good even in the first place. And even the people who do have them, which is rare, aren't even interested in constructing some sort of decentralized economy around them. Here's the best part. They are probably also losing money from this. Minting NFTs is not free, and even when you establish a wholesale partnership for them with one particular platform, you have to have transaction volume to get anything out of it. If Ubisoft is demoing the concept and less than 20 sales have occurred, net total across all their third-party websites, they have almost certainly lost all of the money that they put into this idea in the first place. They could hypothetically choose to sell their NFTs later down the road as they would any other microtransaction, which then makes them almost inseparable and kind of the same thing, but that itself basically voids the concept. NFTs are supposed to be proof of ownership, but Ubisoft is just leasing, if they're effectively doing this, leasing you a digital item, because when they ban your Uplay account or shut down servers for that specific game, which they will eventually, it almost always happens, those NFTs, they stop existing. They stop being able to do anything. They are in-game skins, or cosmetic items in most cases, that don't do anything outside that isolated environment. And that isolated environment is centralized.
I mean, but that same case, to be fair, that same case could be made about what's that game called on PC? The shooter, the first person. Is it a first person shooter? It's man, it's like Valorant. The other game, CS:GO. It's kind of like CS:GO, and those skins and stuff were doing well for a while. So I mean, I don't know. I don't really know from the gaming perspective, like how gaming NFTs are going to go over and exactly how it's going to be presented to the world. I think VeVe probably has a good idea about how they're going to be presenting it and the value proposition there. But yeah, in terms of something like what Ubisoft is doing, I think that there is an audience for it. It's just, I've never heard of the game that they put it on, to be fair. So I thought this was a new game coming out. Apparently it was an old game that they just try to throw NFTs into. And that was a very bad idea.
Ubisoft has somehow managed to launch something that no one wants. The gamers don't want it because it feels like a lazy cash grab that is purely designed to capitalize on shallow digital trends. The NFT bros don't want it because it completely invalidates one of the core pillars behind why they're obsessed in the first place. And if the only people who can actually get your items without logging in for almost an entire continuous month of playtime, if those people don't even want the item, then you are effectively launching a thing where the only people who might want it, and probably don't, can't get it, and the only people who can get it, and there's probably hardly any of them, don't want it. Ubisoft is not alone in the desire for NFTs, but it's one of the first to make any actual moves. EA has expressed a strong interest in NFT integrations, probably for its flagship properties like FIFA, and there might be an argument for potential benefits from the technology in a game like that somewhere down the line, but we would have to trust that EA would be willing to structure these NFTs in a way where they actually live up to those possible benefits, somehow suppressing their now industry-renowned ability to ruin every single thing they touch. Crypto
Yo, I'm actually subscribing to this channel, yo. This guy's hilarious. I actually like his content. Like he has a completely opposite point of view of me, but he knows what he knows what he's talking about. He understands. He definitely understands. He's just not a fan. He's not a fan and he's not impressed, and I like it.
Cryptocurrency meshes very well with a concept called play to earn, a topic I've discussed recently, which also happens to be something Ubisoft is looking into heavily with multiple supporting partnerships. However, everywhere you turn, these concepts are being condemned by the very same audience they are aimed at enticing. Another great example would be Discord, who teased at some sort of Ethereum connectivity not too long ago, and then backtracked after massive community outrage. Gamers categorically do not want this, and yet Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot is
Gamers didn't start out knowing which game that they wanted to play. Like Call of Duty became successful because they created something that people didn't know they wanted to play. Fortnite became successful because you could build walls and do all type of random stuff in the middle of gunfights. Who thinks of something like that? Gamers do not know what they want. So these companies trying to market something based on trends, it's an absolutely stupid approach. Gamers don't know what they want. So you give them an experience that you can only offer by using the power of NFTs and make it a great experience, then all gamers will want NFTs without even knowing that it's an NFT. That's the genius behind it. But these gaming studios are not doing something smart. They're being slow.
Proclaiming NFTs to be the future of gaming. NFT collectors clearly don't want them, or they are being barred from participation by Ubisoft's asinine policy of multi-100-hour playtime requirements to even get them for a less than successful game to begin with, right? Like, they couldn't have picked a worse candidate. And ultimately, the opening salvo in AAA gaming as a mashup between NFTs and the overall hobby has been a complete, unmitigated, and incredibly satisfying disaster. I can only hope that the community continues to push back and staves off these plans for as long as humanly possible until one of two things happens. Either A, they give up, right? That's ideal. Or B, they improve the technology to a point where its usage would be a net positive for everyone involved with zero downside and zero greed. That seems highly unlikely, so here's to hoping they just get sick of it and stop trying. That's it. Ubisoft has failed in every conceivable way to produce and maintain some sort of healthy NFT economy, which is great to see. If you want to support the channel, please buy my NFT. I'm kidding. There's Patreon if you want to support. I'm trying to get away from Google AdSense. Or Locals for those that just don't like Patreon for whatever reason. Also, a YouTube alternative called Odyssey.
Yo, this was actually hilarious, bro. I actually like this guy. Yo, he's actually funny. I'm definitely subscribing to this channel, man. I found this video very good. Let me know what you all think in the comment section down below. I definitely want to hear your thoughts about this. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Be sure to drop that thumbs up, subscribe, turn on notifications so you stay updated. And yeah, I'm going to catch you all on the next one. Peace out, Joe.